Hello and welcome back to Blow Up the Team. Jeremy here today with Matt.
You're just gonna go 3-2 and not even a one, just
Fuck a one, bro. I wasn't feeling
alright.
it. One and I were not vibing today, so we skipped it.
That's fair. That's fair. Alright.
We've also got
No,
Sai back in the cut.
yeah, we do.
What's up? Can't
Back in
wait.
the cut.
Can't
I
wait
didn't
to
actually
discuss this.
because I didn't actually introduce myself. I guess my name's Matt.
No, your name's not Matt. No, it's clipped. It's clipped. Just like the Clippers are clipped. What? I didn't say that.
Oh, what?
Wasn't
Well, I mean,
Controversy.
if you're Skip Bayless, the Clippers are the actual NBA champions.
Skip
Skip
Bayless.
Bayless.
Okay, can
Why
I
are you
just say?
making Skip Bayless?
You know that Skip Bayless is about to cap his ass off when he starts his sentence out with, "I must need a new TV." Like, he's
Yeah.
about to cap his ass off anytime he starts a sentence out with that.
I get so happy when I see Skip Bayless's tears. Honestly, it's all good.
Bro,
It's all good.
I don't even know what to
listen-
say, bro.
It's like Dame Lillard sucks. Dame Lillard goes and drops multi 50-point games. James and the Lakers ain't it. They go win the championship. You just need, honest to God, the reason why the Yankees got blown out, the loss, is because he didn't tweet the Yankees are going to lose. Like I wonder how much I have to pay him. You know?
No, he gets paid to have very controversial opinions.
Paid by
So-
a cameo.
No,
Like
but that's
those
what get
cameos?
views, right? That's what get views. That's
Hey,
literally.
All I'm
But yeah.
saying is,
Who's the guy from? Oh, sorry.
all I'm saying is really quickly that I was watching, Undisputed, like I always do, with Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless, and
Hey.
Shannon gave his rendition of what happened in the NBA Finals game. I don't remember which game number it was. And Skip Bayless just comes out the cut with, "Well, I must need a new TV." And I'm like, I swear this man's about to cap. And then he proceeded to say how LeBron didn't play that well and he wasn't the MVP of the team and somebody bailed him out again and something. I don't know. I was losing my mind. But, like, what? Why is it that he is so consistent with that expression that he must need a new TV and then proceed to cap his ass off every single time?
He
Listen,
I wonder how much money he's spent on TVs in like the past.
whether he likes it or not, LeBron has 4 rings.
4
Case
rings,
in
4 MVPs, Finals MVPs.
Exactly. Right.
He did win Finals
You
MVP.
can't
I
argue.
didn't
Yeah.
after that.
No, yeah, he
It's
did.
on paper, bro. It's on paper. One of the most decorated careers.
It really wouldn't. It really wasn't even that close after the first 2 games. Anthony Davis had a great game 1 and 2. Oh my God, we're having this issue again.
What's the issue?
I'm not sharing my screen, so you can't see. But I was trying to show a video
Yeah.
clip and it was laggy as hell.
Let's see.
Yeah, laggy
Okay.
as fuck. Okay, that's clipped. Okay.
That's good.
Aha! This is the video image.
The great pictures after.
Wait,
nah, but-
should we show your favorite pick, Jeremy?
My favorite
You
pick.
know what I'm
What's my
talking
favorite
to.
pick? That one?
No. Not of that guy. Not of that guy. Which one I'm talking
Oh,
about?
I know which one you're talking about. That's the 4th one. Can we just say though, Rondo's kid was definitely wasted after this. Definitely did not remember this.
Is that beer? Is that champagne?
That's 100%. They brought out like cider. No
Bro,
way.
that kid is balling. Rondo's kids. I don't know what he's teaching them. But Bronny's about to get whipped.
Not about to be. It's over now.
Oh yeah, it's over. Let me see that. I'm looking at the side pics. I'm looking at the zoomed in pic of his son.
But this is the picture you were, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, and you know, into what you said in the chat, he does not give a shit.
He has another ring.
Yeah, he's got another ring. He doesn't give a shit. He's like, yeah, I did. Whatever, however many points or whatever he did, even if it wasn't much, it doesn't matter because when you look up his career, it's gonna say NBA champion 2020. Like that's all that matters to him.
And 2016.
And
Yeah,
2016,
absolutely.
yeah.
I think the biggest. I think it was important for his legacy that he win Finals MVP. And as I was saying before, I got distracted by the fact that the video clip was laggy. it really wasn't even close after the first two games. Anthony Davis had a great game 1 and 2, and then he really did not play well at all game 3, and he had better games 4 and 5, but and 6 as well. But LeBron just outplayed him
Oh yeah,
in its
what it
entirety.
mattered most. Remember when I think it was game 4? Or no, game. It was when was AD injured?
He got hurt game 5.
Game 5, right? So like during that time, even though they lost that game, um, he was carrying that team, and even though it was in year 17, I think it was I'm not sure how old, 35. Man was still carrying that team like he was like on the Heat, and he's in his prime, his like
Wasn't he
supposed
quoted
prime.
as saying God gave me broad shoulders for a reason? I
Yeah,
swear I heard him. I heard that quote.
I mean it
That's a
is
pretty solid
genetic.
quote.
It is genetics, man. Just got the right combination. Now look at him. This man has been continuing into his prime. He's gotten even better somehow in terms of like the numbers standpoint, and it's just insane. Like you see his field goal percentage, like I think it's roughly like 58% maybe in the finals. It's insane. Go back to 2012, it was like 48%. Like, and that was like what 8 years ago. That's insane.
Everybody has been saying, and I definitely agree, that when he was back in Miami, he was just a physical specimen, and he relied on his physical gifts to carry him through the game. But as he's gotten older and the body is starting to wear down on him a little bit, he's developed more. He's spent more and more and more time developing skills. So he's been able to shoot better. He's been able to really manipulate the game more completely, and it definitely has showed in terms of how his play style is. I would say game games 3, 4, and 5 were the closest to old LeBron I've seen in terms of he is just putting his shoulder down and running through people. Like he did not care. He was just barreling into the paint and worrying about the rest later.
Yeah, and he couldn't stop him. I'm sorry. Yeah, he couldn't stop him. I was double taking. I'm like, wait, he was on the Heat before, but now he isn't. But like now, I'm like, Bam Adebayo couldn't stop him. Jimmy Butler tried to defend him. He did well for a little bit, but you can't stop brute strength
Can
like
we just
that.
give a shout out to Jimmy Butler though for those two
Yeah, yeah,
magnificent
yeah.
games that he put up? The only reason that this was
Oh no,
not a
that was
sweep is
insane.
Jimmy Butler. The only reason
Oh,
this
Exactly.
series is not a sweep was straight up just Jimmy Butler.
and
It
Jimmy Butler,
was
the first time in 60 games, 60 finals games that LeBron has played, that LeBron was outscored in every offensive category, which is the only time it's happened in 60 games. Well, I mean, obviously more than 60 now, but still,
Yeah, the only time it's
wild.
happened, it was like what points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. It's the first time that someone has
26.
one single
Oh,
person
I
has
didn't
outdone him in every
still
stat.
That was
steals and blocks. I
2016, man.
just
That was 2016 when he did that.
No, no, no. I'm saying it's the first time that it's been done against him. Like someone other than him
Oh
led
yeah.
every single category, and it was Jimmy Butler in game uh, 3.
Game 3? Yeah. Game 3, game 3. It was like 40. He's triple double, right? 40-point triple double.
Yep.
Yeah, but like think about it that way. Like man played like nearly all the game. I think in game 5 he played all but like 40 seconds. Which is insane. So to carry your team on your back, to do all of that, that's just a commitment, dedication right there. And
Yeah. Game
he
4, he
is
played all of what, like all but 46 seconds or
game
something.
4 or game 5?
It was
Game 5.
game 5. It was all but like
Yeah,
46
that's
seconds.
when they won. That's when they won.
Yeah, but that wasn't
So
his 40 point. That was 35 points and something else. But still, insane game.
exactly, exactly. So like that was like when he was like if LeBron scored 40 then. They were going at it each other, scoring basket left after right down in the clutch. And honestly, that game I was like, this is probably one of the more exciting games I've seen in like a while. Besides in the East, but like it's crazy to see that LeBron's still doing all this. Like his game is completely shifted. He's shooting a lot of threes in this game, and he's being pretty consistent as well. So, I mean, shout out to Jimmy and the rest of the Heat for putting up a good fight.
Yeah, you kind of feel bad. Not kind of. You do feel bad for Bam Adebayo and Goran Dragic to get hurt. In that
Yeah,
in that moment, you never want to see anybody go down. Um,
yeah, that's not the way you want to win either. Like you want to
right.
win because they had everyone. They're missing prime Bam for basically the entire series, even after he came back, and missing Dragic for the entire series. Like, it's just
Yo, wait, Duncan Robinson. No, it's not showing Duncan Robinson now, but like Duncan Robinson on the Heat, I did not expect that from him. Like, he shot really tough threes all throughout the series. And I'm like, wow. And they're all defending him. Like, they're trying to do their best to defend him. And he's like one of the top priorities for Lakers defense to like stop him from like going off ball, trying to get open space, and then shooting it off like from catch and shoot. So like he surprised me during the series.
Yeah, it is interesting to see. Like we were talking about before the series started, um, will the Lakers stay big and make the Heat try to defend up, or will they go smaller? As the series went on, they definitely went smaller. I don't think I really saw Dwight Howard play at all, really, Game 6. And I think that tells you what the state of the game is right now. That they can force teams to go smaller, and you can't just win on brute strength and brute size. And I think
But this,
that the pace of the game just completely changes when you're able to put in somebody like a Markieff Morris or Anthony Davis at the 5 that can spread the floor. Um, so
yeah,
it was interesting to see. I do want to say it was extremely impressive the way that Anthony Davis was able to guard Jimmy Butler and keep up with him, despite obviously you normally see a big man like that not really be able to stay up on him.
Mhm.
But I at the end of I have a lot of grievances with everything that took place at the end of Game 5. Obviously, they're all overshadowed by the fact that Lakers win, so I'm not that mad about it. But I
What are
definitely
the
feel like they definitely should have won Game 5. It is my personal opinion. I think that Anthony Davis was more hobbled on his leg or on his ankle than he wanted to admit that he was. And he wasn't able to stay quite as in close on Jimmy Butler. And I'm not saying that anybody else could have done anything better than Anthony Davis did. Um, Jimmy Butler has been extremely clutch all playoffs. He was playing his ass off, playing some of the best basketball of his career, if not the best basketball of his career. So I'm not saying that anybody else on him would have resulted in anything different. But it just seemed like Anthony Davis was not. He didn't have the mobility that he normally has. He wasn't defensively able to do the things that you normally expect Anthony Davis to do to close out Game 5. And I think the last 2 minutes maybe they switched LeBron onto Jimmy Butler. I just feel like they needed to find a way to get Anthony Davis off of him sooner, in my personal opinion. And then obviously Danny Green throwing up the brick of a lifetime, and I don't even know where the hell Markieff Morris is trying to throw that basketball.
I mean, think about it this way, right? He had a really open shot, and it was a good shot. He missed. It's it's all good. Like, I know he's getting like death threats, like him
yeah, I
and his
know. I saw
wife
so many memes
or his
about it. I'm like,
or his
holy shit.
fiance. But like,
I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't even like okay. Obviously, to miss that open of a shot in that moment, obviously people are gonna react to it, and not only miss it, but miss it that badly. Um, but
it happens.
it happens. What annoys me is what Markieff Morris did with the basketball after.
Oh yeah. Oh
I
my.
was losing my mind. If you look
He
back
could
at the
have passed it
play,
right behind.
if
He
you
could have
if
passed it
you
right
look back
behind
at
him.
the play, LeBron was wide open on the right wing. He was the hottest hand
And dude,
on the
Danny.
team, wide open on the right
Yeah.
wing, and he just tries to lob it to Anthony Davis, who's on a hobbled ankle and was not able to go up and make the play. That's, in my opinion, poor awareness from Markieff Morris. He needed to pass that out to LeBron.
Yeah. I mean, look, Danny Green was right behind him too. He was open.
I
He could have
mean,
passed
okay,
it
but
there
he
too.
also just clanked a really open one. So
I mean, be sure to get a second chance sometimes when you
uh,
get a
uh,
rebound.
I'm
Offensive rebound.
not annoyed that he didn't give it back to Danny Green. My opinion is, in that moment, you definitely want one of your two best players. When your two best players are as close 1-2 as LeBron and Anthony Davis are, you want one of the two of them touching it. In that moment, I just think that he kind of tunnel visioned in on the lob to AD, and then AD didn't get the lift that he normally does because of his ankle.
Yeah.
And it happens, and at the end of the day, they won the series, so it's not that big of a deal. But um,
And they got their
basketball-wise,
17th
you've gotta
championship.
find the open man.
Yeah.
First it
It's
was J.R.
still
Smith,
good.
and now it's Markieff Morris.
Nah,
Oh,
I mean, nothing can compare to J.R. Smith.
yeah,
All right,
yeah,
Marky
No,
I'm sorry.
Morris,
yeah,
Nothing's
no.
ever gonna compare.
nothing can
Could have
ever
bad the
He'll
compare.
decision,
never be
but
able to live
like,
that down.
Oh
no,
no,
that's J.
that's a
It
meme,
really doesn't matter
bro.
what J.R. Smith does for the rest. For like, I mean, listen, he's not going to have that much longer of a career, but still, doesn't matter what he does. His career is going to
Dude,
boil
that's a
down to
career-defining moment. It's sad as it is. It's a
like you win 2 finals, too bad.
I mean, to be honest, like it feels. I don't know that there would be anything that he could really do to make up for that. I don't think that they were going to win that series anyway. The
No, they
Cavaliers were
weren't.
hilariously outmanned in that series.
Oh no,
Um,
they were
Bro,
not winning that series anyway.
during that season,
Like,
right? The season before that playoffs, they just traded, I think, basically their whole entire team.
yeah, they traded. So they
For-
traded obviously Kyrie away for Isaiah Thomas, and then they brought in Jordan Clarkson and Larry Nance and Rodney Hood and maybe George Hill. Did George Hill come in that season? Or the season before.
yeah.
Um,
Crucial team.
and they tried to just kind of rebuild on the fly to just give LeBron help. And they just weren't able to bring in the pieces. The thing is that Kyrie Irving obviously forced their hand by demanding a trade, and then Isaiah Thomas never recovered from his hip injury the way that they needed him to in order to step into that role. And they tried to rebuild on the fly. The fact that they were even in the finals that season was an absolute miracle.
It's
Um,
LeBron, man. LeBron. It was Toronto. That
I'm
Toronto
just again,
sparked
I'm not
everything.
saying that they could have won that series. I don't think they were going to. I don't think they even had a chance. But I do think that was their only chance to steal a game.
Yeah, I thought, dude. I was like, they're gonna win the game one at that point because it was so close. Like LeBron had that mentality. He had a mug face.
I gotta say,
He
it's like
certainly had that face when Jr. got that rebound. But
Yeah, he gave George Hill a great shot at the basket, and then we were just saying, right? Your best player has to touch the ball at the end of the game. And I don't care if J.R. Smith thought that they were winning or not. He should have been looking to give LeBron the ball just because you want the ball in your best player's hands.
and
That's my personal opinion. Anyways, let's talk about this finals. Enough of the old one.
yeah.
I gotta say, it is really funny because I am in New England. All the Celtics fans are so sad that God, like they're all like they're surprised. Like,
Well,
I was expecting I know they wouldn't be happy that the Lakers won, but I was not expecting the amount of anger that some of them have. It's like great, they've been to more finals and they've won the same amount now. Like, and
they
that
both had
like that
17,
that
right?
wasn't a surprisingly pissed. What?
But they both had 17, right?
No, they both have 17, and Lakers have like far
No,
more.
Lakers have.
Well, no, they have 17
They
Wins.
both have 17
championships.
rings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm just saying the Lakers have a lot more appearances though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
No,
and the Celtics, a lot of their rings are back in the Bill Russell era.
Oh,
So
yeah. I mean, it's a different type of basketball back then.
oh no, yeah, but
I
I was,
think
I
the
was not
Lakers have
expecting
the
that
most
to
in what they
be.
call the modern era.
No, yeah, but I
Yeah.
just wasn't expecting how I was expecting not the anger at that. I was expecting like the LeBron people on campus were happy and then anti-LeBron people, but I was not expecting the universal. Why did the Lakers have to win? Just by fact of being Lakers.
This Lakers team just kind of gave once. Honestly, I feel like after they beat the Rockets as badly as they beat the Rockets, those last 4 games, I feel
Mhm.
like they just had a certain sense of inevitability about them. Like that, you just knew that team was going to find a way to win. Obviously, it was aided in the fact that the Clippers, whether you're
Yeah.
Skip Bayless
I
and
was
you
gonna
want to say
say.
that they were looking ahead to the Lakers, and so they didn't give the they didn't give the Nuggets enough attention. Whether you want to just admit the fact that they got beat and call it a day, doesn't matter. Definitely is better for the Lakers that they did not have to go against that Clippers team. I would have rather, if you had asked me in the beginning of the season which team I'd have rather gone against, I would have definitely said the Nuggets either way. But they just had a certain sense of inevitability about them that they just seemed like they were going to find a way to get the job done. Starting for me really back in that Houston series, I know that they demolished Portland, but it required an insane level of basketball from Damian Lillard to even get them into the playoffs. So it really started for me in the
Yeah.
way that they dismantled that Houston Rockets team.
I mean, I thought I was so unsure by then. Even after the first round, right? Even after Rockets as well. It was just because of the Clippers that I was worried about. If it was the Clippers that they're facing, Western Conference Finals, then it would be a different story. I would have thought. I mean, it may have been closer, but I don't know. If PG wasn't Pandemic P, then
Well, the problem
yeah,
is that he was, and he only really had. I mean, well, let's not go back and spend too much time on the Clippers, but
yeah.
we saw
But like,
what
it's
they
just
did.
part
What
of the
him and
story.
that's what him and we saw what him and Kawhi did in the fourth quarter. And at the end of the day, they had three straight leads, three straight double-digit leads, and blew all three of them. Uh,
Yeah,
I've heard all kinds of stuff about how LeBron is mentally weak, this, that, and everything, and the Clippers were going to win because they've just got dogs on their team. I've been hearing that all season long, and I don't know where those dogs were, but they evidently did not make their way to the bubble because that team just never seemed like it really had a lot of fight in it. It always seemed like they were behind the eight ball. They were
Also, what a
fighting
ridiculous statement.
internally.
Like, I just, ugh,
no,
hate
you
that
need the
statement so
fight of the
much.
Heat, man. You need the fight of the Heat. Like, look at them fighting. They're actually going toe to toe with the Lakers.
If you're a Heat fan, by the way, you should say your
Oh, you
blessings that
should
there
proud.
was a bubble because if there was not a
Mhm.
bubble, you would not have been here, and I can say that with a pretty large amount of certainty. Role players and especially young players do not play well on the road.
And pressure, yeah.
On the road, with the fans screaming at them, with all that pressure
Yeah.
on them. I think that the bubble gave the Heat a chance to go and just play basketball without any of the distractions, without worrying about anything else other than let's just go play basketball. And they obviously had the right mentality. Jimmy Butler was a great leader for them. They all went and they all fought hard. And I think that what separated them in this crazy year was what separated these two teams was their mental toughness, their ability to stay locked in, their ability to stay focused with everything that was going on off the court, on the court, so that they were able to continue to play basketball at a high level. It's what happens to the Clippers now. There's been a lot of grumblings now that the Clippers have deep ingrained chemistry problems that go far beyond not having played enough minutes together. I actually have heard
Okay.
some rumblings of obviously I've only heard it to be honest from you from Shannon Sharp, and obviously I do think
Okay.
he's capping on this. I do think that this is a lie, and he was talking about that they should trade Paul George. I don't think that they will
Uh,
trade him. I definitely think that the
yeah, I
experiment
don't. Yeah.
deserves. I definitely think the experiment deserves one more year. However, if you're Clippers management, I don't think I can blame you for seeing what he's worth on the open market.
No, I think like you
You
have
need a
to go
point guard.
book,
You need
but
a
like I think it'd
point
be
guard, man.
irresponsible to not book.
Yeah.
Especially with the
If
way
you're,
that the two of them melted down in the playoffs.
yeah.
I do think that it would be ill-advised for you at least not to see what he's worth. And I don't know honestly what would be the worth of Paul George right now. He's now proven, I think, multiple times throughout his career, he's not the guy to go win a series for you. He can help, he can be a good piece, but he's not that high pressure guy.
Would you say he's the third option?
I think he could be a second option for the right first option.
Okay.
I just
But
don't think
wait,
Kawhi is the right first option.
first option you're saying. The right first option.
I don't think Kawhi and Paul George's games mix well, personally.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. Yeah.
I think you need, if you're gonna want him as your second option, you're gonna need a guy. Like honestly, I think he would be a great second option to a guy like a James Harden.
You really think James Harden? Okay.
Really?
I
Well, okay,
don't.
I gotta say, I don't think anyone's the right second option for
I
James Harden
don't
because
think
James Harden
that's.
is number one and doesn't give a shit about the 2 through
Yeah.
5.
If think about this, right? With the star player, like we're gonna take an instance for like Chris Paul, right? And you're putting him with James Harden. Chris Paul's a point guard. He's supposed to have the ball in his hand, but being on the Rockets, his usage rating, right, has gone down because Harden always needs the ball, and that's how the Rockets' offense runs, right? Even with Westbrook on the floor, right, it's gotten better. Like usage rating is like for Harden has gone a little bit down, but it's still pretty high.
Here's the
Like
reason why I think that Paul George would fit. Obviously I don't think this trade would happen anyway. I don't
I
think
don't
Russell
think it will.
Westbrook to the Clippers fits. So I don't think the Clippers would want to do this deal. But if you're the Rockets, right? Paul George is a guy. He's a great. First of all, he's a much better spot up shooter than Russell Westbrook is, and he's going to help your floor spacing immensely over Russell Westbrook.
Okay.
He's going to be able to spread the floor. He's going to stop them from being able to crowd the paint. Not that they really do that anyways, but it's going to force them to guard all five positions. right? You already have guys like PJ Tucker that's going to stand in the corner. You got Robert Covington. Obviously, James Harden is going to have the ball in his hands. And now if you can add Paul George to that mix, you have like a legitimate guy that can space the floor for you. He can lock up on defense, which we've seen moments of James Harden being able to do that, but we haven't really had him, like he's not that elite level defensive talent that Paul George is capable of being when he's right. And when you take him off the floor, him being James Harden, when you take James Harden off the floor, he can still run the offense. Paul George is capable enough to run the offense, run that second unit. So he still fills that role, and he's a much, much better spot-up shooter and spacing the floor type guy than a Russell Westbrook is. And even honestly, a Chris Paul is. Chris Paul is not a spot-up shooter. He needs the ball in his hands. I think that the reason Paul George fits... I mean, the contract is a different issue. I'm just saying in terms of play style, I think that he actually fits. When you sit and you break down his game, he fits better than you think he does because Paul George doesn't need the ball in his hands that same way. He can play with the ball in his hands, but he can also go and spot up and be a great spot up shooter for you as well. And obviously you don't want his game to devolve into that, and he can still create off the dribble when you need him to. But he's not a Chris Paul, he's not a Russell Westbrook that can't do anything without the ball in their hands.
We're not denying that his ability is great. We're just saying, like, after seeing what he's been doing, especially in the playoffs, because clearly, like, let's be honest, right? After seeing what he's doing in the season, and then flash forward to the playoffs, you're seeing quite a difference in performance.
I think that it was the bubble. I'm willing to write this playoffs off as the bubble. Because he just mentally never seemed present, to be honest with you.
Okay.
If you look at his other playoff runs, he hasn't his biggest downfall has been like Game 7 type situations where it's do or die. But other than that, he's played well for the most part during the playoffs.
Okay.
Like I would say, if you look at specifically last year, the OKC lost to the Portland Trailblazers on that shot by Dame. I don't think you can put that on Paul George's head. That series, we're not
gonna do that. That's a different reason. It's just a team itself. But
I'm willing to overlook this playoff and just look at everything else and look at the rest of his body of work. And from the rest of his body of work, I actually think he fits surprisingly well alongside somebody like a James Harden, because he also we've already noted how he's not the greatest in high pressure situations. He doesn't. He's not the best guy to take that last shot in every situation. He's not the guy to go light up in a Game 7, and that's what James Harden is there for. That's what he's getting paid for. That's what he's known for. He's going to take those shots. That is his job. That is his role. And I think that in a situation like that, Paul George can be the number 2 guy.
Okay. That's fair. All right. Now you defended Paul George's career.
He just had terrible. Like I'm not gonna like. I defended his career, but let's not get it twisted. He played like a pile of dog shit.
Yeah.
I'm not defending this postseason. This postseason happened. You can't get rid of it. It was a disgusting disgrace of a playoffs for him. He is a much better basketball player than what he showed in this playoffs, and I'm just saying that you can't forget this, but I do think you can write it off as either chemistry problem, which is why I'm saying that as we look past this year, we've said what we need to say about the finals. As we start looking forward to next year, as free agency is around the corner, I think that if you're the Clippers, you've got to at least look for what you can get for him. I don't think, aside the contract situation aside, I don't think Russell Westbrook fits with what the Clippers are trying to do. I don't think he would fit well with Kawhi. Yeah, he's a great individual player, but he is not a guy that fits well with a lot of teams. So I don't know what.
He needs to be a star. Like, if he's gonna be on a team, he needs to be like the focal point of the offense.
You could say that a little bit about what people were saying about Jimmy Butler too. So I'm not willing to say. I'm just gonna say. He hasn't found the right fit yet, because don't forget, people were saying that about Jimmy Butler too, and then he showed he can be the team player in the right environment.
Okay, but Jimmy Butler and Russell Westbrook are not like two different types of players.
Oh, 100% right? They are. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, when people come out with stories like Jimmy Butler like arguing with the players, like, oh, you should be doing this and that, especially on the Timberwolves, Sixers, there's not a lot of trust with him. And then on the Heat, now you're starting to see like how much of a team player he is. So yeah, I kind of agree. Like we gotta wait and see if Westbrook finds that right team, right system for him. But then again, it's just like who has the ball more, like a lot more, like Russell Westbrook or Jimmy Butler. And it has to be Westbrook, right? This man just keep on going with the ball, keep on using the offense, and just bullies his way. But sometimes it never even works. He like misses wide open shots. People leave him open for a reason.
Yeah, that's why
Right?
I was arguing that I think that Paul George fits because of his ability to space the floor.
Yeah, yeah. No,
But I
get
think
rid of
that
him.
it's going to be interesting to see what the Rockets team offense looks like next year because Mike D'Antoni's out now, right? So
Yeah. Do
seeing
you
who's
have
going to
any?
fill in for the Rockets head coach and seeing what they do with that team is going to be interesting. I don't know. It's going to be they traded away their only big man in Clint Capella. I think that was,
I don't know what they did. That
in
was a
my opinion,
mistake.
that was a mistake. In my opinion.
Yeah, that
But
was
I am
such a.
interested to see. I am interested to see what they do. Obviously, James Harden is still going to be the focal point of anybody who comes in there. But I don't think that Russell Westbrook, as much as those two guys want to play together, I don't think that their games complement each other very well. They both are very ball dominant, and Russell Westbrook just can't space the floor enough.
Yo, yeah, you can say all you want, like, oh, they've been best friends forever. Like, they've been on the Thunder, back in the during the championship like season. Like, you can say all of that. They have good chemistry, but play styles, like you just said,
Yeah,
no,
it's
no.
not just chemistry. See, they have the opposite problem of what the Clippers have.
Wait,
The Clippers have a
Clippers?
chemistry problem. They have just a play style problem. Albeit, I'm not gonna lie, I cannot imagine being in a. I mean, I can't imagine being in an NBA locker room because I'm never gonna be that. I was never that good, never will be that good. But like just in general, like I can't imagine being in a play in a locker room with those two. I just think I'd drive myself out of the league out of insanity, try to figure out. But like, yeah, at the end of the day, it's not a like a culture problem for them. It's the play problem. So
Well, we gotta see during free agency, man. There's gonna be a lot
yeah,
of
true.
moving pieces going on.
Yeah,
Even
I'm
though it's not the
interested.
best one, it's not the best one, but it's something that'll like affect the league a little bit.
Yeah, I am curious to see what what some of those teams like the Clippers, like the Rockets do. I do think that if the chemistry problems are as accurate as what they're saying, the Clippers are in desperate need of a leader in the locker room. Maybe not on the basketball floor. I think that they have their leader as a player in Kawhi. I just think that he's not the vocal leader that that locker room needs, and I'm curious to see either who steps up as that or who they bring in to be that guy.
That's the thing. I don't know how much they've given up a lot of stuff to get Kawhi and PG. They don't have any first round. They don't have any picks until I think 2027. Like they've given up a lot of their future just for these two. And they had a win now mentality. So
I
it's
also
kind of
just
hard to
don't.
see.
We talked about it last video. I'm sorry, I've got to butt in. I also just don't like Paul George's mentality. This was never a must-win season for you. No, fuck off. It was a must-win season.
It is. It is. That's what the thing is, right? And to now say that you all have deep rooted like issues in terms of like what's happening in the locker room, in terms of chemistry. Well, you've done load management on these two players for a long time, and I get it. It's a great strategy to help preserve the energy for the playoffs and make them well rested for that. But like in terms of like team culture, in terms of like the dynamics between players, that just means preferential treatment, and some people take it the wrong way. So, like, you're just setting up a recipe for disaster at that point if you're
Yeah,
Clippers management.
absolutely. As we look forward to next year, I'm just gonna read off some names that are free agents this season. Carmelo Anthony's unrestricted. Mike Conley has a player option, which I definitely think he will take. DeMarcus Cousins. Obviously, we got to see how he comes back from that Achilles tear, but that's remaining to be seen. Andre Drummond has a player option. Evan Fournier has a player option. Marcus Gasol is unrestricted. Joe Harris is unrestricted. Dwight Howard is unrestricted. Serge Ibaka Paul Millsap, and Marcus Morris are all unrestricted free agents. And then the big name obviously is Anthony Davis on that player option. Wondering if he's going to accept that and come back, or if he's going to sign a big deal somewhere in LA or elsewhere. Um, Brandon
Save,
Ingram,
nice save.
Brandon Ingram and Bogdanovich are both restricted free agents. DeMar DeRozan has a player option. Fred VanVleet and Montrezl Harrell are both unrestricted free agents. I think that if they lose, not if, I'm pretty sure the Clippers will lose Montrezl Harrell to free agency, and that will be a big blow to them. Gordon Hayward has a player option, which I don't think he will decline. Goran Dragic, Davis Bertans, and Danilo Gallinari all are also unrestricted free agents. I think Goran Dragic could be. I don't think the cap space would work, but I think that he would be a good candidate to run point guard for that.
He's
Clippers team.
definitely re-signing. Dude, he's re-signing.
Oh, he definitely
Yeah,
is.
I
100%.
I like this fit. Like, I mean, clearly it works, but like,
This is his best. I think this is his best like performance I've seen. Goran Dragic. I'm not sure elsewhere, but like in terms of when he's on the Heat, and especially in this season, damn good. Despite his age.
It is
So.
going to be interesting. A lot of role players going to be moving around. I wonder what somebody like Dwight Howard is going to
I think he's gonna test his value, man. He's
No,
gonna be
I
out
wasn't.
there.
I don't expect him to be back in LA. I'm just wondering what his
Yeah.
contract looks like, because he's no longer that guy that you can go sign that's gonna just put the team on his back, right? He's not that Orlando Dwight Howard anymore. He's a high energy guy who can go get you a few easy points in the paint. And he's gonna go fight for every rebound, but he's not that guy anymore. So what is his value on the market going to be? Especially in a center, the way that he plays the center position is kind of aging out. That's not how they're looking for fives to be anymore. They want to be able to stretch the floor. Andre Drummond is another one of those guys. He really is not going to be able to stretch the floor. He's a high energy guy. He's going to go get every rebound. He's going to get you some points in the paint. But I'm curious to see what their values look like. I think that they're
DeMarcus
obviously going to
Cousins.
look very different because Andre Drummond is significantly younger. But I am
Yeah.
curious.
What about DeMarcus Cousins? He's also.
I think DeMarcus Cousins will come back on another minimum or like a mid-level exception. I don't think that he needs to prove that he can still play basketball. He needs to prove that he can still play basketball before he can worry about signing anything other than that.
Right. Exactly.
I'm wondering where Carmelo will go. He showed that he had a resurgence this year in Portland, so I am curious to see where he goes from here.
I don't know. That's an interesting question. It's going to be exciting because free agency, in my opinion, is one of the most exciting times of the NBA, even though it's like after all the games have been played.
Yeah,
It's
definitely
just
gonna
fun
have
to
to put
see.
my once the like I'm gonna have to put my Woj alerts on.
Oh yeah. I
Woj
mean,
bombs.
that has to be. Those
Matt
are
and
just
I
like
last
what the
year
hell.
had such a fun time at the trade deadline.
hmm
Oh, no. You had a fun time with like all the trade deadlines. I had a fun time pretending I knew what I was talking about.
That's fair.
I literally I capped my ass off in like all those videos. Like I was fucking googling shit while we were recording, or I was just going along with it and like let me make the most general statement possible and try to make it specific. And I'm like, yeah, I'm proud of myself for this.
Yeah, I mean,
Nice.
we had
I'm not sure it's the best thing to like say about what that says about me, but like,
I mean,
I,
basketball is not your thing, just like baseball is not entirely my thing. But definitely gonna have to have the Woj bomb alerts on. But yeah, I guess to wrap up, we'll have another video, I'm sure, where we go a little bit deeper look into free agency. But to get back to what today was supposed to be about, Lakers win. It was a great showing. I think LeBron reminded everybody why he's the best player on the planet, and I think that people are recrowning him as the best player on the planet. He reminded them that he's not old yet. Um, wow, the Titans beat the brakes off the Bills. Um,
It's a big margin right there.
but I don't want to get into the Jordan LeBron debate. I don't think that this moves the needle for anybody at all. I will say that he is the first player, LeBron James is the first player to win Finals MVP on 3 different basketball teams, which it's a big thing to be able to add to your resume. And being the leader on all those teams as well. Is not just on the court, but in the locker room. Not all
Yeah.
on a lot of those teams. That's huge.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that
I
next year is going to be interesting.
I don't know, cause like Adam Silver came out and said like they're planning on having fans now. Hopefully, if everything goes smoothly. So even though it'll be limited capacity, it's gonna be interesting to see how games are gonna be played next year. Plus, it's gonna be starting at a different time. So everything is changing. Everything's so odd. But you just gotta wait and see, and hope for the best. Hopefully, it doesn't get canceled.
I
Not
don't think
like
they'll cancel.
No,
I
they
doubt
they
they'll cancel
showed
the season.
they showed they could handle it this year. Like they had the best
but with
of these
fans,
playoffs.
right? They-
They've had the best, like the most success with I think they'll be back like on time next
The
year.
only difference
Yep.
is they can't bubble. You can't bubble a whole season.
Yeah, that's the
Well,
thing.
true.
They're losing money. They're losing so much money by not having fans in there.
Well, I don't
So,
think not even like even just money aside, it was too much to ask the players to do it for 3 months. Imagine them having to do it for twice that.
yeah, no, that's another thing. I mean, but I'm just worried about the general issue of just like having that many fans in the stadium, and then
Well,
all of a
I
sudden, if
think
one outbreak happens, it's game over. They have to
I
shut
do
down.
think that they will do something similar to what NFL fans are doing, where like they're at very minimal capacity, um, which will be interesting to see. Also, COVID is, at this point is proving to be, I feel, relatively unpredictable. It's not something that we spend a lot of time talking about, the three of us, but we genuinely have no idea what the hell this thing is going to do. It's not behaving like the flu like we thought it was going to because it didn't go down during the summer like we thought it was. So the general assumption is that it's going to go up during the winter, but we really have no idea. And we have no idea when a vaccine or a cure may suddenly become available. So um, it's going to be interesting to see how all the leagues handle the seasons for next year. Obviously, the NFL has to find a way to get through this season first, which we're seeing some pop up problems with some teams having to get their facility shut down due to outbreaks. The MLB had its fair share of teams get it and having to rework how they do things. And their season is almost over, so it's going to be interesting to see how starting next year, um, are they going to start working towards a new normal? Are they going to start working towards, this is what we're going to expect from now on versus trying to continue to do things like the bubble and try to find ways to um, keep it as secluded as possible.
Doing that mentally for within a bubble, if they're going to try to go back to that, it'll do so much on the player's mind, on their own like mental health. It's just going to be tough.
I do think
You
that
can't do that.
I think the
Like
only
like you said,
possibility, I think the only possibility would be that they would bubble again for the playoffs. I don't think that there's a world where they would bubble the whole
yeah,
season.
no, I completely agree with that. Just like travel and all that, they'll figure it out. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
they'll
Like
figure
the
it out. I mean,
NBA is
like,
fully capable.
and though the MLB did have its problem, after the three teams that had problems got it, there was a very minimal number of like pop up like one person cases
Mhm.
afterwards. So like, I mean, it can be done successfully. The Marlins got it because they weren't taking the rules carefully. The Cardinals got it because they weren't taking the rules seriously. Like, it's common trends into why outbreaks happen. So, if I think it's doable.
Mhm. That's for sure. That's for sure.
And also,
Wait
the
and see.
NL and ALCS have fans in the stadium right now, so
What's that?
I mean,
they have fans in the stadium right now for the ALCS and the NLCS.
Interesting.
yeah. I mean, it's possible. I just don't know. We don't know what's gonna
No,
happen.
you're not gonna
It's just
know
like we
until
don't
we're
like.
not gonna know until it gets here.
Yeah, but I
That's
do
the
think that
whack part.
NBA proved that like the accomplishments they have made from the start of like whatever remaining games are going to be in the season to the end of the championship, they had zero COVID cases, which is remarkable. So like I find that a lot of the different leagues in the U.S. have to learn from the example the NBA has set. Not for like the whole season, obviously, But like what
Yeah.
Jeremy said.
But still, it was a huge
Playoffs.
success.
Oh yeah,
The
huge.
bubble,
Yeah,
yeah,
100%. 100%.
100%. I don't think they could have asked for it to go any better. All the players were saying, shout out to them for managing to not have a single positive case. That is a huge thing that they
But
somehow
who's the
managed to
guy
go
who
to the
guy
tournament.
was caught at a strip club?
He didn't even get it.
Lou
I
Will.
know.
Lou Will.
Lou Will didn't
Lou
even
Will,
get
man.
it.
Yeah, Lou Will tried.
Yeah, he tried to get it. He failed. But genuinely, it's going to be a wild next year and a half in sports as we try to navigate what's going on with COVID and what's going to continue to go on with COVID. Um, I think that in terms of the NBA and where it stands right now, I think they had the most successful COVID plan in terms of how to get back on the court and being able to play and put on a show for their fans, even if it wasn't in person. I think that obviously it didn't quite feel the same for the Lakers to win, and there's no roaring fans in the arena. There's no cheering in the background. You can't see the fans losing their minds. Like obviously that made everything feel different. I actually saw one of the WNBA players talking on ESPN about they almost didn't realize, like it took a few days for them to realize that they had actually won the finals because it just didn't hit the same way. There was no that moment of realization with the crowds going wild and all of that, and you kind of miss some of that. I do think that some of my best memories from finals past are, and not even just finals past, just playoffs and basketball past, is like someone hits a big shot, someone makes a big defensive play, and you hear the crowd in the background going crazy, and it was missing that added layer
Oh, yeah.
of
It's different.
involvement.
It's different.
So I hope that we are obviously able to shake COVID and get back to um, where we want to be, with the fans being allowed. But that will remain to be seen. I think that this finals will go down in history as one of the weirdest finals to have been played. I think that that's a fair statement to say in the sense that there was no fans.
Yeah.
It's in the bubble.
I guess so. For lack of a better word. Yeah.
I mean,
would
it's
say.
definitely gonna go down in the history books as something. Whether however you want to phase it.
It's
But I wouldn't say like it's like an asterisk. Like you can't put something as like
oh
the
no,
championship as like something that's like
Wait, how
not-
many
Fuck
less
Skip
games did they
Bayless for that,
play?
man. Fuck Skip Bayless for that.
Yeah.
Now, Skip Bayless was gonna say this no matter what if the Lakers won. He wouldn't say this if any other team won. He
The
just
only
hates
way
the
the
Lakers.
only way
He hates
Skip
LeBron.
Skip wanted to be able to craft the NBA playoffs and have the Clippers play the Lakers anyway. Like if Skip had it this way, the Nuggets would have won and then still went home so the Clippers could play the Lakers. Like at the end of the day, you can't please everybody. There's not you can't the only asterisk that you could put in was that there's no fans. That would be the only thing. But like
Yeah.
that doesn't change the matter of who won. The Lakers still went out and won that. I almost think that you could view it as more
It's tougher.
impressive just because of the mental warfare
It's
that they would have had
mentally
to go through
tougher.
to
They
stay
played
in that
almost
bubble.
a full season still. Like they played almost a full season to get there still. They still had to work their asses off in the playoffs against a bunch of ridiculous performances out of Jamal Murray. They had to take him down. They had to take, a lot of fucking adversity down. It's like,
While
even though they're
also
Yeah.
athletes and
trying
they're
to stay active, they were all trying to stay active in their social rights advocacy and trying to get people to vote. So they were
Yeah.
all staying active in the community while still playing basketball in the bubble, in a situation where many of them didn't get to see their families for extended periods of time. That more power to them. I don't know a lot of people that would be able to seriously go into a bubble and just live, eat, sleep, breathe basketball for 3 straight months. And I think that you saw a lot of teams buckle for it. And I think, really, I would say the last 4 teams, the Heat, the Celtics, the Nuggets, and the Lakers, all deserve kudos for being able to keep their heads on straight long enough to be able to continue to play basketball at a high level. Because I would say the Clippers kind of disappointed, but all 4 of those remaining teams were able to put on a show for the last 2 rounds of the playoffs, and I don't think as an NBA fan you could ask for more than just great basketball, which is what you got.
Yeah. Because like I was really interested because like when there was fans, like you would hear like, excitement, like when you're watching the game, and you would kind of take part of that too. And you take that out, I was kind of fearing that it would be like not as enjoyable. But honestly, I found it to be as enjoyable, even more enjoyable, just because of the fact that now we were all focusing on just purely basketball and the
I mean,
plays
you
and seeing
still got to
how.
hear the players on the bench going crazy and stuff. Like,
Oh,
I
but
thought that was
that's
kind
like
of cool.
minor. Like compare
Oh no, I
to
know it's. Oh no, it's absolutely minor. But
yeah.
I'm
So
just saying,
like
it's kind of cool to hear that because you normally don't hear shit.
oh
So you
yeah,
can see
yeah.
it.
Okay, I know what you're saying.
Like I
I know
don't
what
mean
you're
it change it. No, it's absolutely not the same. But just being able to get that experience of you kind of remind that these players are human. Like you watch them play, you don't hear them, you just hear the fans. Like
I do think
just
that it was for me personally. It started slow and it picked up steam.
yeah.
Um, it was almost hard to watch before the playoffs started, and even the first round of the playoffs, it was kind of hard to watch as a fan. Like if you're just a fan of the game and you just want to see good basketball played, obviously once the playoffs started and the intensity kicked up, you were able to go to enjoy them. There was some great basketball played in the first round. I specifically remember watching that Thunder Rocket series, which was a great series.
Yeah.
Um, but I do think that once you hit the especially the conference finals and then the finals, you really saw the intensity. You really saw the guys leaving it all out there on the floor, and they were all there to. They all felt like they had a legitimate chance to win, which I think not having those fans. Like I think that this year, if there was ever going to be a year where a complete dark horse team was just going to come out of nowhere and win the ring, this was the year. Not having to travel, not having to deal with fans. It was built for what the Nuggets and the Heat revolved around, which was young talent being able to step up into that big moment. And I think that not having those fans, not having to travel, not having to deal with those off the court things, um, really made a difference for those younger teams and really allowed them to show out. Same thing with the Celtics.
Completely agree. Um, I just I really appreciated like all of what they've done and all intensity, and hopefully soon enough I get to see him again and keep playing. So hopefully the situation gets better. And I guess I think like the sum of it all, memo of it all, Skip Bayless should never be trusted. Um, that's the sum of the podcast, pretty much, and the
I
previous
agree.
podcast and the previous one as well. Skip Bayless should never be trusted. That man
Caps his
can
ass off.
go. He's capping left and right. So yeah,
He lives to
him and
cap.
Paul Pierce. Him and Paul
Oh,
Pierce.
Oh
LeBron
God.
lives rent free in that man's head. Although I have to
Listen,
say he's been surprisingly quiet since the Lakers won the chip. I don't know.
Yeah,
no,
we're
he's,
just
he's too
saying, you
busy
know.
sitting he's probably off crying somewhere. I
He's
mean,
seeing
nowhere. He's
demons
probably
right
crying.
now. He's seeing
He
demons.
just can't handle it. He's like, oh no.
While LeBron just busy like, okay, here, hold my cigar. Man, it's just like,
That is a legendary picture of him holding that cigar. By the way, can I just say that?
I want to see an interview between LeBron James just sitting down with Paul
oh
Pierce.
yeah, this is amazing. This picture is
I love
amazing.
this picture, bro. He was
It's a
living.
power move.
He was living
Oh
his
yeah,
best life, bro. He did not care.
he knows how to celebrate. He's like, fuck y'all. Y'all talk so much shit.
Did
Here
y'all
we
see
go.
Kuzma say, "I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm a little drunk off of all the champagne right now"? In his
Yeah, yeah, I
post-game
saw that.
interview, that was pretty funny.
He's living his life now after getting so much heat.
Kyle
Him,
Kuzma is gonna go
Danny Green.
home and he's gonna go hit up the first Instagram model that he sees, and he's gonna go
Oh
live his life.
my God! All right, that was one of the narratives. That was one of the many narratives going into this series. Him and then Tyler Hero seeing the same Instagram model. That was insane.
Hey, I think Kuzma wins that battle now, though, isn't it? He's got a
Yeah,
ring.
yeah, yeah. And then the Greek freak. Who's the real Greek freak?
Yeah, I saw that JaVale McGee clip.
I feel bad for Giannis.
Giannis, okay. Giannis is an interesting one to think about what his
Yeah,
career takes him from this point on. He was not listed in those free agents. I don't know if his contract is up, is it?
it's next year. It's next year.
Yeah, he's got one more year where he's signed to the Bucks. But I am interested to see what next year looks like for Milwaukee because if they don't win, I do think there is a world where Giannis walks to another team, and I'm really interested to see what that looks like. And then also, just to mention next year really quickly, um, the Warriors come back with full vengeance, right? They still have obviously the Splash Brothers and Draymond Green, and they've got the number 2 overall pick. And they've got it was Wiggins that they have now, right? They've made so many trades this year. It was
Yeah.
D'Angelo Russell, and now they have Andrew Wiggins. So
They're the first pick. Did they have first pick?
second pick.
Dude, what the hell?
They have the second
Who
overall pick.
allowed them? Who allowed them?
Yeah,
to
I
have
don't know
second
who
round?
allowed that to take place.
Oh my god.
Not sure
This
who allowed that
is
to take
not
place.
good.
They're actually in the power rankings listed number 3, and they haven't even selected their player yet.
Oh no, this is not good.
Yeah,
they're just snuck away.
2021
They-
way too early NBA power rankings.
Oh, this is an actual thing.
Yeah, no, it's a legit thing. It wasn't from ESPN. I think it was Sports Illustrated had them ranked 3rd or something. I'll find it. You guys keep talking.
The Knicks. I feel bad. All those Knicks fans out there.
Okay, this is just cap. What who put Miami?
No.
That's cap. They don't deserve to.
No. They're good. They're probably up there, but not to.
I saw a thing on Instagram that had them really high up there. Oh, it was this one. They were number 4. According to Bleacher Report, they're number 4.
That's cap. I don't know if I don't know. I just think that they're not gonna. I'm not sure if they'll win championship next time, but they're in for like a deep playoff run.
Bro, the Splash Brothers are going to be back, and they're going to have something to prove that they didn't need Kevin Durant. Right? They're out to
Because
prove
they didn't
that.
have 2015. They didn't have KD in 2015. And
They did, and everybody seems to forget that.
Yeah. I don't know.
Including me, to be fair. But obviously the Lakers are
2016.
gonna. The Lakers are still number 1. I think that's recency bias. I think by the time the season starts, they will have fallen out of the number 1 spot.
Really?
I don't think on paper. On paper, I don't think they're the best basketball team in the league.
They're not, but like they're probably one of the more cohesive ones.
I do think that they're still top 5. I just don't think they're number 1. I think Milwaukee needs to come down from its 2 spot. To be honest with you, as I think about the upcoming season, there's 6 or 7 teams that you can legitimately make an argument for next season.
Wait, hold on. Number 5 is the Celtics, bro. That needs to go up. The Celtics are definitely better than the Bucks.
I mean, the Bucks. They continue to. I mean, everyone puts them up on top, but they never fucking perform.
Because they're such a great regular season team, and they just don't show up in the playoffs because teams just wall off.
That's the problem. That's why
paint.
it's the problem.
They need a star. Gordon Hayward's getting paid way too much for what he's doing on the floor. But he's a good contribution, but...
Oh, he's a good player, but absolutely getting paid too much.
Yeah, way too much.
But I think that if you wanted to take a look, just a quick look, you can make an argument legitimately for probably 6 or 7 teams to have a legitimate chance to win the chip next year, which makes next season so exciting. Obviously, you've got these 5 teams here. You can make an argument for any of these 5 teams. You've still got the Nets that are going to have their say about it out.
Oh, I forgot.
Kyrie and KD are coming back healthy. They've had they had an extra 3 or 4 months to heal that they shouldn't have had, if you think about it. Because of the
they're
bubble
still
pushing the
injury
season
prone.
back.
No matter what you say, they'll be healthy.
They're still injury prone, but assuming no injuries, right? You can't project what their power rankings are with injuries. You have to assume that they're healthy, right? They're going to have their say about it out east. We've seen that teams like the Nuggets, the Jazz could be ready to take a step forward. The Heat obviously just made their deep run, so what will they be able to do? Will they be able to replicate that kind of a magic run? So there is legitimately 6, 7, maybe even 8 teams that you can make a legitimate argument for being serious contenders this season. It's interesting to see what the 76ers do. They've got new coach Doc Rivers. Do they have what it takes to kind of take a step forward? They were a lot of people's picks to come out of the East this season before they fell on their face after Ben Simmons got hurt in the first round. So it's exciting time to be a basketball fan. And Matt, I know you've been saying you want to get into it. I think this year is the year to get into it because there are so many teams that have a legitimate chance. I think this season...
Oh, it's exciting, man.
This season, I think that because of all the injuries, 2 teams like Golden State, 2 Brooklyn, and then obviously Ben Simmons got hurt in the first round. There was only really 2 teams. Everybody knew it was one of the LA teams was going to win it, and then Milwaukee kind of had an outlandish shot to win it, but it was basically those two teams. But next year, especially after we've seen that the Clippers don't mesh very well together, we've seen that Giannis is indeed stoppable in the playoffs. You can make an argument for 6, 7, 8 teams to be legitimate contenders next year, which is a great time as a basketball fan.
Yeah, I'm just focused on the Knicks, man.
No,
Knicks
we're
are
not talking
bottom
about the Knicks.
30.
We're not talking about the Knicks. We're not talking about the Knicks. The Knicks are clipped.
As long as they have Dolan, they will never be contenders.
I'm not talking
It's
about
a
the Knicks.
big
I'm not
rip.
talking about- By
It's
the
a
way,
big
we
rip.
listed all those teams, by the way, and there's a Houston fan somewhere screaming at his computer because we didn't even mention James Harden and Russell Westbrook.
No, because James Harden is a great player, but he's never going to win a fucking championship the way he plays the game. That's my hot take.
Definitely say
Dead
that's a hot take.
silent.
Say that again.
I had to
Say
talk.
that
I'm
again.
processing.
Say that again, Matt. Matt, I want to hear. I want to hear
The
that.
way
again.
James
Say it
Harden
with your whole
plays,
chest.
The way James Harden plays, he's never going to win a championship. He doesn't play well with others.
Damn. Damn. That's a
LeBron
grown
James
man
plays
move.
well with others. Fucking Steph Curry, don't get me wrong, definitely ball dominant, can play well with others.
Mama, there goes that man, bro. If
Hey,
this
listen,
gets
this is my
cited,
job. I'm the one who watches the
if
league.
this gets cited in the future, bro, I'm gonna cite every word. And then if James Harden wins the
Listen. At the
championship,
end,
I'm going back to
no
this
matter
clip.
what happens. Sorry, you were saying?
No, I'm going back to this clip. If he wins the championship,
Oh
I'm
no,
gonna play
listen,
on repeat for you.
and I will gladly take it. Okay, I mean, like, after he's out of his prime, like if he ends up like some bench player somewhere, like, and
They
out of his
have the.
prime,
I'm
like, I don't-
sorry. They have the Nets ranked 12th. They have Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant and a
I'm-
decent supporting cast, and
That's
they're ranked
based.
12th.
No, it's based on because like, they don't know how they're gonna play, right? It's purely based on that.
Yeah, sure, 'cause they
They
haven't
have the
played
Lakers at
But
9. What
Wait,
the fuck
wait.
is
Hold on,
this?
this is cap. This is cap. This is cap.
Oh, this
Hold
is July 24th. Okay. This is old. This is not new. I was about to lose my mind. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Continue. I'm so sorry. I did not mean to interrupt you just now.
Matt,
No, it's good.
go.
I mean, like, if it's like, a case of like, he ends up like a J.R. Smith type role on a team, like, I don't, like, all right, cool, we want to, but I mean, like, as a number one, the way he plays, he's not like that team's never winning a fucking championship with that, because like they've done it for how many seasons now? It's James Harden featuring other people, and it doesn't work.
I
It's,
legitimately think there are 14. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I legitimately think there are 15 teams that have a legitimate chance to make noise next season.
So.
Pacers? Huh.
Well, no, I'm not taking the. I'm actually gonna say one of the Grizzlies, the Pelicans, the Suns, and the Pacers. One of those 4 teams will make some noise this year, just because they're
I
young
don't know
teams
about
looking to take a step
Pacers.
forward.
I don't know about Pacers.
I don't know about the Pacers, but I think the Pelicans can.
I think any
Yeah,
one of those 4
Pelicans.
teams have the pieces to step up and make some noise. Even the Timberwolves on the outside shot, D'Angelo Russell and Karl Anthony Towns, if they can make that work. But you get down to 14, you're looking at Portland, which is always kind of hovering around, always a dangerous team that no one wants to see in the playoffs. You've got Dallas with Luka ready to take a step forward. We've talked about Houston. Matt, I'm going to put in this is why I interrupted you, is because I knew Houston was going to come up pretty quickly. I don't think that James Harden, I don't think it's not a possibility for him to win. I think that
Something in his game needs to change. Or
he
something,
needs
or
to
he
be
needs to get the right
surrounded
number
by
two.
the right pieces, and I don't think he's surrounded by the right pieces right now.
I don't know. I think he needs to have an understanding. I kind of agree with Matt on this. Like, he needs to understand that, like, maybe there's something in his game that he has to change. And that's his ball hogging. That has to change. If he's going to win.
There is
Kobe even
productive
said.
ball hogging, like, fucking
LeBron.
LeBron James,
But
Kobe
he's
Bryant. They
passing.
hog the ball, but they're also able to move it. LeBron's able to fucking move it.
The issue is, like, Kobe... R.I.P.
It's
Kobe,
interesting.
Like,
it's interesting that you
he
just
said
called
it.
LeBron a ball hog, because I actually
well,
feel
no,
that he
that's
passes the
what
ball
I'm-
too much.
Well, I know, he does, I mean, like, when you think, when you think of number ones on a team, you think, oh, ball hog, but like, I mean, he used to be.
I mean,
much
James
more-
Harden led the league in
yeah.
assists last year.
Did he really?
Not
Yeah,
this
he's, like,
year. LeBron
converting
led it
some
this year, but the
people.
last year, yeah, James Harden led the league in
Really?
assists.
I don't know. I just see. Interesting.
Like, no, you're
No.
not wrong. Like, he is known as a ball hog, and a lot of people say that those assists are kind of, in a sense, cappy, because A lot of them are just like he hogs the ball for the whole shot clock and draws like 3 guys, then kicks it to an open shooter, and so they hit it.
Man, they said the same thing about Rondo, and look at
Um,
him now.
but I do think it is possible with the right guys around him that he can do it. I think that the biggest thing that needs to change is that they need to find a way to be a more cohesive defensive team. I think that's the
I
biggest thing. They can score with the best of them. Offensively is not the problem for that team. The problem for that team is they can't always lock up defensively, and I think that that's where their biggest problem is.
he needs to stop focusing solely on scoring the ball. Like you have to do other things on the team if you want to be helping the team win, right? Take Jimmy Butler. He got to the finals not by just purely like shouldering the team every time, but like doing what it takes to just support and do like whatever the coach asked them to. So I honestly think that you gotta. There's something fundamental about his game that he has to change. I don't know what, but
Well, moving on from the
Just kick
Rockets.
his score.
So
yeah,
that's just number 12 on the list. And then you go down for 12, you got the Raptors, who look like everybody expected them to take a huge step back after Kawhi, and they stayed very relevant.
They didn't.
You got the Jazz, who Donovan Mitchell, especially in the bubble, looked like he was ready to
They're
just
doing well.
absolutely backpack the team through the playoffs if he needed to. The 76ers have the talent to always kind of hover around. It's interesting to see what Doc Rivers will do with that team, but they've still got Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, and I think they still have
they
what's
have
his name?
everyone.
Harris. What's his name? Help me.
Yeah, no, Tobias Harris.
Tobias. I couldn't remember his first name. So they have
Oh,
pieces.
okay.
They have pieces there that I'm interested to see how they're able to put things together. And then obviously we saw what the Nuggets could do, especially when Jamal Murray is playing his ass off the way that he was. You've got the Heat, who just finished runner-up for the season at the 7th spot for the power rankings, which I actually think is the right spot for that team. You've obviously got Kyrie and KD coming in at 6. You got the Celtics, which has just always got a loaded roster because they got so many young guys on that Boston Celtics team coming in at 5. Golden State's at 4. They've got Steph, Clay, Draymond. They've still got Andrew Wiggins, and then they've still got the second pick in the draft that they could turn into
And they've
another
added
potentially-
D'Angelo Russell.
No, they didn't. D'Angelo Russell was traded for Andrew Wiggins.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. Right.
Yeah, no.
Where the fuck is
Andrew
D'Angelo
Wiggins is back. He's in with Karl-Anthony Towns in Minnesota. But
I forgot.
you have those guys. Plus, you still got young guys like Jordan Poole and Eric Pascal. And then let's not forget they still have the second overall pick that you can turn into. You can turn into in a trade, right? You trade that piece to a young team that needs to rebuild, that needs to find somebody. I can't think of a guy off the top of my head, but there are definitely teams out there that would be willing to give away a talented player for a chance at the second overall pick, even though it's not a fantastic draft this year, at least projections-wise. There is definitely teams that are willing to trade away their last remaining piece of a team to try to go into full rebuild mode. So keep an eye on the Warriors to make a move for this season. Obviously, you've still got the Clippers. You've still got the Clippers with Kawhi and Paul George. You can't expect them to flop on their face the way that they did against the Nuggets every year. Now, if they have chemistry issues, that would be something to keep an eye on. But they've still got the talent to be competitive. The Bucks are going to be on this list until they prove that they're basically until they blow that team up. Because regular season, they look like they can just control every single matchup, and then they just don't in the playoffs for whatever reason. Whether it's that Giannis can't carry a team the way that he can because he gets walled off or whatever it may be. And then obviously you've still got the
develop
Lakers.
his team, man. He needs to develop his work.
Assuming Anthony Davis goes back to the Lakers, he's the only real big piece of all of these teams that would be looking at moving. Assuming he goes back to the Lakers, you've got a legitimately 15 teams that have a chance to make some noise in this upcoming season.
Yeah.
And it's no longer the era of the super team. It's a lot of duos. Like even the Warriors, it's really Draymond at this point in his career. He's a high energy guy and he's a leader, but he's not that player anymore. So at the end of the day, it is Steph and Clay and their duo with the third option and a distant third option at that with Andrew Wiggins, and then whatever they could get out of the second pick. That's the closest thing to a quote unquote super team you got. Everything else is dynamic duos. And that is going to make the league incredibly interesting to watch.
I just need to see Bucks make another move, and then I can say that they're probably number 2. I wouldn't say they're number 2 right now, but
I'm interested to see how Kyrie and KD fit together.
they're both just big scorers. I think Kyrie needs to do some work in terms of playmaking, but honestly, this is not going to be a bad team. I think I'm gonna see some fun on this team. Hopefully, all three of us have to go buy NBA tickets and then watch the game Sunday.
Oh, absolutely.
Once fans are allowed again.
Yeah, of course, But like,
Go see a team that has a shot like the Nets.
yeah, all of us can take a
I've
trip to
always
Brooklyn.
I have made it a goal of mine that I will go watch LeBron play in person before he retires, and preferably before he becomes like on the real back nine of his career, and he's kind of just there for show.
Okay, Nets
So.
versus Lakers. When Barclays
Hope you're
Stadium.
ready to empty your bank account into tickets.
Jeremy, with your money, with the money that you're about to get, I know you'll be able to afford that.
What money am I
I'm
about to
telling
get?
you.
What do you know that I don't know?
Really?
What do you know that I don't know?
Come on, this last summer, like you got paid.
It's got to pay off school loans, big fella. We're all college students here.
That's true. That's true. That is true.
It's
That's
alright.
fair.
It only cost me like $25 to go see the great mighty D Rose and the Pistons play the Celtics. So.
Oh God.
Ooh.
And by the way, $25 to sit on the
$25.
highest row at the TD Garden, the highest row up against the fucking cinder blocks. And like my
Jesus.
fat ass couldn't fit in the fucking seat properly because the seats are so damn small up there.
Jesus.
That's a
All right.
tragedy.
It was
We'll
painful.
get
but it was worth
proper seats. We'll get proper seats. We'll see.
You better be ready to empty your bank account, big fella.
I know. We'll see. We'll see. It's a
I'll
fall
shell out
month.
$50 for tickets. I'll do
50,
that.
but do you want to be standing on the concourse?
Yes,
$50 is.
I did it for the fucking. Listen, I am
It's
not.
dead cheap.
I will spend
$50.
$50 because I spent fucking. I realize it's not that much money for NBA tickets, but like, bruh, I'll make jack shit even at home. So
So then
like,
we're gonna have to buy those tickets. Like,
this is months in the future we're talking about. We will figure it out when we get there.
yeah.
That's fair.
Okay,
Alrighty. Let's wrap this up. We rambled on about random topics. We will be back to talk about free agency, and then once we obviously get much closer to the season, like our actual projections for the season. Make sure to check out the link to the highlight video in the description below. I will make sure to put that in there again. Also in the description, check out our Twitter and our Instagram, even though we don't really use them that often. But definitely check out our Discord. We're in that all the time. So come on over and say what's up. We never got around to Matt's MLB video.
Nope.
Never happened. And now the Yankees aren't in there, so I don't think he cares.
No. We'll do a recap video. We ain't talking about. The Astros are down 2-0 and they're only up 1-0 against a team with significantly better players. So hopefully they, lose this one too and go down 3-0 because it's what they deserve. The cheating bastard. Oh hey, the Tampa Bay Rays just took the lead. The Dodgers are hilariously down 2-0 to the Braves. I think that would be the most ridiculous thing. They fail yet again in the NLCS. I think the even sweeter thing would be the Dodgers make it to the World Series just to lose the third time in the last 4 years. But anyway, these are all things to talk about after the season's over. So we'll do something postseason. After the season's over, it's not happening.
It's clipped.
And it's fine.
At some point, I'll get my head out of my ass, and we will do something about the NFL. So keep your eyes open for that.
Oh God, I still keep like literally the first week happened, and like I couldn't figure out why no one was on. Why you weren't on? Like I'm like the Lakers aren't playing today. The fuck is going on? And then I remembered, and then I walked into like the basement at like 8:30 at night, and I'm like, oh, football, yeah. Just totally flew under my radar. Like I didn't get a single notification.
So we will check in on that at some point. Other than that, this has been Blow Up the Team. Anything anybody wants to say before we close this out?
Nothing. Thanks for all of y'all who've been watching.
All three of you?
For following us.
All three of you?
Yeah.
Matt, anything you want to say?
What do I want to say? I really hope we don't have to come back to this next year when the Houston Rockets win the championship.
Yeah.
I could really eat my words here. We'll see.
I mean, well, I just want to thank both of you guys for bringing me on. I'm so glad I met Jeremy over the summer. And honestly, if I hadn't met him, I wouldn't be on here and discussing basketball in a level of detail that I usually would. Right? Jeremy has provided some, I guess, someone like I never had like a deep level of discussion on basketball on, and he's the first one I ever had that kind of discussion. So, and especially Matt too. Matt's
Oh,
you're
yeah,
gonna be learning a
definitely.
lot about basketball. So, uh, hopefully everything goes well with that. Pay attention to everything. I think you'll understand a lot about the game. But yeah, thank you guys both for the amazing journey.
Oh, that was so sweet.
Yeah,
Aw.
yeah. I'm
I
a
mean,
wholesome guy. I'm like
God
usually
damn.
you make me tear up over
very
here.
wholesome guy.
Nah, yeah, I definitely think that we both appreciate you. I can speak for Matt a little bit here. We both appreciate you
Oh no, yeah.
taking the time out to pop in for us.
It made my life significantly easier because like I didn't feel like don't get me wrong, like I feel like I was able to contribute better because I didn't have to try and be a number two. Hey, I got to be a role player.
There you
I didn't
go.
have to. I could let two people who really understand the game take over, and I can just throw in my bullshit about like Russell Westbrook and I know what about James Harden and shit. Just something to
He can be the
make you.
memer. He gets to be the memer now.
I was only half memeing on that, but anyway.
Well, no, but
that,
like
that
just in general, like we definitely appreciate you
that could be a
stepping in.
Skip Bayless level miss.
Yeah, don't be Skip Bayless. Don't be Skip Bayless.
Oh
Don't
no
be
no
Skip
no
Bayless.
no! I'll be realistic, okay?
But anyway.
But yeah, we definitely appreciate you stepping in. It made both of our lives easier. Kind of it made it a lot easier to be like more conversation and less
Oh yeah,
just talking
significantly
at a
easier.
screen. So we thank you for that. It definitely is interesting how we got from point A to point B.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we appreciate you taking the time to sit and talk to us, even though we get cumulatively, I think, on all the videos you've been a part of, maybe we have cumulatively, let's see, 6, 7, 8, 10 views cumulatively, in case you were
Bro,
curious.
that's a
Listen,
lot. Bro,
it
there we
ain't
go.
about the number. It's about the fact we enjoy doing this shit. So,
Very true.
someday,
You never know, man. Someday.
listen, all it
Yes.
takes is one
Subscribers.
big ego to get on here and flame us on Twitter, and there we'll go. Like the last video, they'll talk about like Russell Westbrook will watch it and just put me on blast on Twitter,
Oh yeah, because
or
that's
like,
gonna happen.
James Harden's just like is sad, wrapped up in a blanket, fucking looking
Sag.
through like YouTube. Yes, Sag. Just fucking scrolling through YouTube, sees the video, is like, "Fuck this guy," and then puts me on blast, and then puts me on blast again after they win the series.
Yeah,
So
you see it. Do you remember? You probably don't.
I am big braining it. I got
You're
the
big.
five
Yeah,
hit
the big
plays.
brain. The big
Oh,
brain.
you're definitely big rating.
He's the five head of the crew right now. I don't know if you guys have saw the thing where apparently LeBron after the 2011 NBA Finals went back and made a list of all the people he wanted to prove wrong, and Skip Bayless always liked to talk about how he was at the top of that list. Matt is going to be at the top of James Harden's list.
Yep.
Yeah,
Some no
we'll just
name.
add him. Add
People
him
will
on
just be like,
Twitter.
"Who the fuck is this guy?" I'll find my Twitter and be like, "Why the fuck does he care about this? This is esports and baseball and like questionable political takes. What the hell?" And
Bro, you're digging yourself a grave here with this video.
oh,
Tell
absolutely.
him,
He's already
tell
dug it.
Jeremy to-
He's
Dude,
I
tell
conceding.
use these
Jeremy to
videos.
cut that
Listen,
part
I use
out.
these videos so that one day when I'm a teacher, my students will go back, they'll see it, they'll make fun of me relentlessly,
Bro,
and I will leave the school. Like that's like my
So
story arc.
you're already planning your exit.
incriminating yourself here. Bro. Oh man, alright.
Alrighty.
Anyway, all right, we need to end this video. This is going
Yeah,
on
it's
too long.
rambled on long
Yeah.
enough. Again, check out the video link in the description for that highlight video, and check out our Discord, and we will see you next time.